Hello friends, Techman Pat here. Hope you are having an amazing Anzac Day. Today we're going to be talking about the internet speeds, and since the election is coming up, NBN is going to be a big part of it, like I mentioned in another video. But I just want to talk about some costs that are going to come up very soon. If the new government gets in, whichever one it is, it's going to be likely going through the books and is going to check how much it's going to need to pay to fix this NBN problem. So Australia has watched its place in the rankings of internet speeds around the world continue to fall. The original fiber to the premise infrastructure project back then would have put Australia at the top, and had other countries want to do the same. I mean, if you see one person doing something really cool or really good that's helping them, you'd probably copy them. That's why, I don't know, life coaches or fitness models are kind of pretty good role models if you want to get fit yourself. Instead, today, places like New Zealand, Australia's a neighbour from across the ditch, have invested in and stuck to getting fibre to their homes and businesses, making their internet backbone one of the best in the world, which is quite surprising. Obviously, it's a smaller country, but it's still the same idea. You gotta invest and you gotta stick by the main idea, or at least the initial plan to get fibre. So on the 18th of May, Australians will end up voting. They will decide should the current government stay or give way to the Australian Labor Party. Either way, the incoming government will have to deal with the crap storm that is National Broadband Network, a lumbering disaster that began as an ambitious effort by the Australian government to construct a countrywide broadband network. Since 2009, none of the promises have ever been met. Sure, there are a few homes with fibre, and sure, some people are getting great speeds, and I can see in the comments, some people are, but some people are not. There is a little glimpse of a national infrastructure project there, but it looks like a patched together Frankenstein of a network. Let me know in the comments if you agree that Frankenstein network is a pretty good description of our current network. They aim to build a fibre optic network that would deliver connections of up to 100 megabits per second to 90% of all Australian homes, schools, workplaces within 8 years. Now, 10 years later, the NBN has failed to deliver on that promise. NBN Co, which is a government-owned company who's set to build and maintain the network, now expects to only deliver 50 megabits per second connection to 90% of the country by the end of 2020. The moment it seems that it all fell apart was 2013. That year, the Labor government had championed the network, but was replaced by a Conservative party. The new government quickly re-evaluated the NBN plan, taking issue with its projected costs. So, the original plan, estimated to cost 43 billion Australian dollars, was fibre to the premises. This plan required threading fibre optic cables to each and every building, new or existing. A lot of the cost was also buying back pipes from the telcos, which we'll talk about in a second. The new government recoiled at the price tag. Then they fired the NBN Co's CEO, restructured the company, and proposed an alternative fibre to the node network, which was estimated to cost no more than 29.5 billion. The cost has now ballooned to more than 51 billion. That's, with some quick napkin math, we can tell that we got a pretty raw deal on our national infrastructure. The idea behind fibre to the node costing less is that you don't have to run fibre optic cables to each home. Instead, you use the existing cables to central street nodes, which you'll probably see a video about that in the next few days, where you add a box and it connects to that and the fibre network instead. Now, looking back, the cost of fibre back then, the actual spools of wire, was actually expensive. That price has drastically calmed down, which means that over time, as we were building this network, fibre got even cheaper. Unfortunately, copper doesn't last forever either, and as we talked about this in a few videos ago, the copper cables were supposed to be replaced 10 years ago already, because they have passed their use-by date. But our generous telcos, being so caring about their shareholders, decided to squeeze out the last bit of value from it and sell it to NBN Co for a premium, thus making a buck and getting rid of this. But let's put a number to it, all right? NBN Co is paying $1 billion a year to Telstra for the right to use that last few kilometers or meters of copper and that they own to connect those homes to the nodes. But see, here's the rub. NBN Co has to fix any copper that they find that needs fixing. It's not on Telstra. They have run into delays more than once as they encounter copper cabling that nearing the end of its usable life, and they must replace it. They're the ones who have to take up the cost. So not only are they paying to basically fix it, they're gonna pay for the fixes itself. So NBN Co has purchased roughly 26,000 kilometers of copper, the old copper, to try and replace old copper instead of just buying fiber. Now, the cost of the copper is roughly $10 billion just to buy the copper. All in all, that's not where the problem ends. Fiber to the node will need to be upgraded somewhere down the line, as the outdated copper technology is already obsolete. The government has spent $50 billion to build an obsolete network. That's like opening another blockbuster chain with hundreds of locations and going, whoop-de-doo, we'll just change it to Netflix soon. Upgrading the network to deliver the original connection speeds will require yet another huge investment, and I'm sure you all know where that money is going to come from. Some have estimated that it will cost NBN Co an additional $16 billion. That's a pretty expensive upgrade, pushing that total cost to 67 to get fiber to the premises after 15, 20 years, because I bet you in the next 10 years, we're just going to start upgrading things. After the federal election, the incoming government will have to figure out what to do with this bloated project. NBN Co is far from profitable, and even if it was, it still owns billions of dollars to the Australian government, and that in turn is people. If the government does decide to bite the bullet and upgrade to fiber to the premises, it will have to contend with other commercial networks now delivering equivalent speeds, and I'm talking about 5G, 4G, or any other mobile network. Had Australia delivered the NBN as originally promised, it would have been one of the fastest, most robust national networks in the world at that time. Now, it's outdated. It is already obsolete, and we're still pumping more money to actually just to get it to work. Frankenstein network. Whew. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, which government's gonna fix the NBN network issues. What should we do now? Should we pump more money into it to upgrade the fiber to the node, to the curb, and then to fiber to the premises? Or should we just scrap it and start from the beginning and just put fiber everywhere? I mean, scrapping it's the same thing, right? You're still going to have to spend more money, but why should they buy more copper? And why is Telstra getting such a good deal on those broken ass copper pipes? Guys, like, subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys in the comments, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks and goodbye.